Okay, here we go. Can I get through this whole life update email? Probably yes, but I will tell you I'm sleep deprived. See, I haven't lost like a full day of sleep, but I've lost incremental amounts of sleep over the last 4 days, so it kind of like builds up. But nevertheless, I have the time, so I'm going to go for it. After my last update email, I helped Liam move, which was decent, except Liam has so much stuff. Holy cow, this man is a baby hoarder. Not a man who hoards babies, mind you, but rather a baby hoarder. It makes sense if you don't think about it too hard. I mean, well, maybe he's normal. I don't know. I have so little stuff in comparison to him, though. I was like, wow, that's a lot of stuff. So yeah, I was kind of surprised, a little bit disappointed, and a bit like, I didn't sign up for this death, but I did anyway. Because that's what friends do. Epic Marvel quote, by the way. I then got home and took a bath because I was tired, and my arms were very dead because I worked out earlier, and that plus there being like, me being one of the two people that helped move, I lifted a lot of boxes and heavy furniture. I then watched anime, made chainmail, and then I worked on my last live dinner before joining in a classic and typical Ratchet Christie Minecraft call. The next day I did not go to church, rather I wrote my live email because I was like, I have no other time to do this, so I did that. I think I was tired for some other reason. Not really sure why. But before going to bed, I responded to Sydney, my friend in Maryland. That's not true. She's in Pennsylvania. Not Neo's wife. And she wrote me like a mini life of day email, which was nice. I'm just saying, if you guys write me a little mini life of day email, I will really enjoy it. So you should do that. I then went and played D&D, which was fun. Playing Quinrell was a pretty good experience. I think my only qualm with him being, so far as him being a fighter, so there's not many things he can do. It's like, the roleplay is good. I think I'm doing well at it, but I wish I could like do more stuff in combat. Because I'm like, I smack. I shoot an arrow. After that, I had food and went to an anime club. Yes, so see, I decided I would try anime club out once, because you never know. Maybe they won't be crazy weebs. But I will tell you, they were pretty darn crazy. And yeah, anime club was not my jam. See, it was interesting. We did an anime quiz, and I actually scored second out of everybody, which was great. I was surprised. But everyone was just super socially awkward. I'm like, I can tell you don't have a life. And so I'm like, do I really want to associate myself with these people? And the answer I came to was no, not really. So I did not go back. But hey, I tried it out, and I felt like I should get points for trying. And it was decently enjoyable. Not all that bad. However, I'm still in the Discord because they get me good anime recommendations. Okay, I went home, listened to Pines Aquinas, and got some anime clips from various shows I've seen. I decided to try and make an epic AMV, because me and Joe made some decent AMVs. But what happened is I'd spend like 3 hours just finding clips from the shows, and I realized like if I just spent 10 minutes after I watched an epic scene, I could just record it, and then, make sure every scene I put in the AMV is epic. So from now on, or from then on, I guess, I've been putting aside various scenes that I think are just really cool. After that, I went to school. I worked on applying for scholarships because that's the thing. I don't know why. I don't know if I've gotten any of them yet. I probably won't know. And I don't know if I actually did succeed. But, I took one CSU class back in COVID and I got a B-, which means my GPA is like 2.666, which is super dumb because my front range GPA was like 3.64. And I'm like, great, but they don't see that. So, yay. So I probably won't get any scholarships because my GPA sucks. Yep. They're like, what are you doing? Applying for this merit scholarship? You're garbage. So yeah, that's unfortunate. I need to work on getting that fixed. But hey, maybe I'll get a scholarship. Who knows? Anyway, I then went to work and sorted bibs, the little things that people do put on the running shirts. And I was like, that's an A, that's a B, and so forth. Riveting stuff. I then did math in math class, went to Ratchet Christie, went home and ran with mom, and it was really enjoyable. Although at this point, I've been running with dad some because mom's like, it's too cold. And, that's kind of fair, but not really fair. Once I got back, I emailed the Majesty Reason Club with him, which was good because I need to keep on top of that if I want to, keep growing intellectually. Thereafter, I had the next day of school as per usual, worked on coding stuff because, I have to do that for Mech 105. I folded more t-shirts, and then I took a death test, and I did very, very poorly. I got a 53, which is like, oh, okay. So yeah, ECE is evil. So I'm going to have to fix that. So that's great, but after that discouraging test of death, I went to Tuesday night where we played Minecraft and watched a Bollywood movie, which is the best thing ever. Okay, I've got to talk about this for like 5 minutes. So Bollywood is like the Hollywood of India, which apparently everyone knew except for me. And they made this movie that was like 3 hours long. It's ages, but it's like two dudes, right? Who have juxtaposed goals and all that jazz. But end up becoming like on a team, and there's like both beasts. And there's like 7,000 super dramatized epic scenes that were just super comedic because you're like, this is not realistic, but it's fantastic. The movie was beautiful. Essence of beauty. The only movie I think is really good and not anime. It was just the best. The whole scene where the dude whose legs were broken was on the other guy's shoulders wielding dual guns. So good. Anyway, you need to watch it. It's called RRR. I cannot highly recommend enough that show. It was fantastic. So yeah, I watched that with everyone. Fantastic time. I do not regret spending that time at all. I then went to bed. The next day I had school, did work, went shopping because I needed to buy my own food. And after that I received some of Dave's clothes, which came to be really handy because they're hand-me-downs and I understand how valuable clothes are now because I have to pay for them. And yeah, I went to Magic Club and afterward I played Beat Saber for like an hour and then I uploaded some of my Beat Saber runs to YouTube, which, I actually have a YouTube channel. I've had it for ages, but I don't ever put anything on it. So yeah, if you ever want to see my Beat Saber runs, just let me know. And I got you. I'll bestow upon you a link. So after that, I slept, and so the next day began. All right. That day I climbed a bit in the lovely morning. I took another test of death, which I don't know what that test was. Must have been my mech test, which in that case is not actually a test of death because I got like a 96. So yeah, maybe an anti-death test. I did work, spent 2.5 hours writing this whole project write-up for Mech 205, which took ages. And it's gross because you're like, I already know this code works. Can I just press the button? It functions. Like, can I just tell you that it works instead of telling you every single reason why? But it's fine. I got home, ended up watching Hacksaw Ridge while the chain mailing because Mom and I were watching that. And the movie is pretty intense, but oddly good. Even though I understand it's like realistic gore, it doesn't oddly bug me as much as anime gore. So explain that to me. I then cleaned my Rocketbook because it has to be cleaned and to be reused. And then I listened to Majesty of Reason videos while playing Minecraft. The next day I had school, did work, did math. After that, Liam helped me with my Ratio Christie presentation. And this marked the start of what I'm going to call, of what I'm going to do this week. Oh, what I'm going to deem this week. Because it was horrible. Oh my gosh, so much work. I mean, I guess the Hell Week doesn't officially start until Monday. But this was like, oh, things are happening. So I worked on my presentation with Liam, and it wasn't super bad per se. It was just more me being like, what do you want from me? Why am I here? And he was like, I don't want to do it, so you're here. And I was like, I understand. So yeah, I worked on the presentation. Liam helped me out with some graphic things. And then I got home and got the FAFSA done, which is great because I'm now guaranteed a Pell Grant for next year. That's how I'm getting paid to go to school right now. So that was a really big deal, and that makes me very happy. I then went on a run, finished the Bollywood film I mentioned before because we were like, this is just the best. And so we did that, and it was great. The next day, in the morning, I did the book study, and we talked about a chapter from Owen's in Elementary Christian Metaphysics. I did that book study with Matt Allen and this other dude who I don't know. See, the problem is I was like, I read the chapter 2 like half a month ago, so I didn't really contribute that much. Oh, like 2.5 months ago. I was just like, I don't really remember what happened the whole time. So yeah, it was still good because we did get to do it, and we've been falling behind on those. After we got through the chapter, Alan and I, talked to the new Catholic dude who's really bad at being Catholic, honestly. He was like, the way I see it, the church isn't infallible. And I'm like, but doesn't the church claim to be infallible? And he's like, I don't really know, man. And I'm like, okay. To be fair, it wasn't exactly like that, but it was painful. Yeah, he was just very bad at being Catholic. He's reasonable, but bad at being Catholic. And, that might mean Catholicism is reasonable, but don't tell John I said that. I then did some more Minecraft listening to Pints. I went on a lovely birthday party for someone. I went to a lovely birthday for someone. See, I have notes that I should really remember what happened in life. But it was a long time ago, so cut me some slack. Whoever's birthday party was. Oh, I went to Grace's birthday party. Yeah, not embarrassed about that. Not at all. I remember my sister's birthday. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I went to a birthday party for Grace, and we all watched Children of the Sea, which was spectacular. So far, the best and most visually stunning anime you've ever seen. We did presents and stuff, and she liked that. I got her 7,000 hairpins, and then I did some more Plastic Class and made chainmail. Thereafter, I went on a brief walk before continuing home and responding to Master's Reason and continued my conversation with him before calling it a night. The following morning, I went to church because it was Sunday, played a long game of Magic, and then soldiered to D&D. I did dishes during Bible study, which is a lot of work, by the way, because those dishes took 2 hours or something like that. There were a lot of dishes. And then I watched the Blue Period show with Morgan. I need to ask her if she wants to do that again. See, it's like an anime about art, and it seems pretty realistic as far as I can tell. It's basically just the protagonist being like, I'm good at art. And then he's like, no, I'm bad at art. And then over, time he learns new stuff and just that cycle repeats. It's really how it goes. Though, not like I'm actually into art, so I can't really tell you for sure if that's realistic. But it seems like, the sort of existential artist journey. Anyway, it was fine. Kind of a meh anime, honestly, but, not garbage nonetheless. After that, I did Beat Saber. I'm trying to beat all the levels on Expert plus super fast mode because that feels like an achievement. So I've continued my conquest and my success I put my success up on YouTube. I now have 1 subscriber and 10 views. Beat that. Here's the link if you want to perchance see me crushing at Beat Saber. Then began Hell Week for reals. So basically, the problem with Hell Week and why it happened is that every day this week I had no time to do homework during work, which means that I had 10 less hours to do homework during the week because I normally can do homework when I'm just chilling and doing nothing at work. But during Hell Week, the homecoming race was happening, so I was like, I actually have to, do work at work, which, I understand I shouldn't be disappointed about because that's usually what everyone has to do. But it was still kind of on and off. So yeah, that was one factor that was really unfortunate. I did have her do quiet time the first morning, Monday morning, but after that, just going to school and homework, well, not doing homework, I guess, doing work at work. Anyway, it was like, I do not have a lot of time. So the other thing that normally would happen is I have a gap between Ratio Christie at the end of my classes, but that gap was being filled by working on the presentation for said Ratio Christie. And see, I actually gave a Ratio Christie atheism presentation that day. So, of course, I talked to Michael a bit before because he's big smart and he's like, make sure you say these things. And I was like, that seems reasonable. And then I gave my talk on atheism. I think that went well. You could ask anyone in the audience if you really want to contest that self-assessment, though. I then went home, ran with Mom, and as for my custom, then watched a bit of anime before working on my job stuff because at this point I was still like, okay, this is busy, but I can keep up with my normal schedule. However, the next day I was proven quite wrong. See, I woke up early to go to a resume help session It was not resume help. It was just dumb because I was supposed to meet with the person who actually works in industry, but instead I got a student who knew nothing, absolutely nothing. Okay, I have to rant about this. It bugs me immensely when you go to someone there and you're like, I have this question, this particular question. And they're like, I don't know the answer. But they don't say that. They pretend to know the answer and redirect you. And you're like, that's not what I asked. Could you just say, I don't know, please? Because then when you say, I don't know, and you end up telling me how to format a resume for 20 minutes, you're just clearly stalling. And I'm like, I didn't ask for that. I already know how to format my resume. Thank you very much. And it's just so painful. So I had this happen recently, a second time when I went to career advising. I walked in and I was like, I would like to know how many internships and co-ops are expected. And she was like, talk about co-ops, blah, 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 which is code for, I don't know what a co-op is. Explain it to me. And she literally does career advising, for goodness sake. And I told her what a co-op was, and then I was straight, politely, mind you. If you don't know anything about, how many is expected, that's all good. And she was like, no, yeah. And then she proceeded to be like, it varies from job to job. There's no standard for, what's your department again? Mechanical engineering. There's no standard for mechanical engineering. And it was painfully basic, the whole time. She clearly did not know a single thing about a particular and specific question I asked her to talk about, but she kept talking to me anyway. Now, as far as I can see it, look, if you don't know what you're talking about, then please tell me you do not know. And then leave it alone. Okay, one other case. I got tutoring yesterday for EC because that's the class I'm in. I'm not doing great. And the tutor's like, I'm going to review the textbook so I can make sure I can explain it to you clearly. And as she's going through, she's like, I really don't know where they got that 2 from. And I'm like, I don't understand this. Why are you this way? I'm the one asking for help, but even I know where they got the 2 from. So yeah, I've had a few encounters where I'm just vexed because people in positions of authority just won't admit they don't know, even if it's very obvious to me and it bugs me. Please just say, I don't know, and stop wasting my time. But despite my inward vexation, I was cordial in my demeanor. Thus, like a good and virtuous human, I deserve some credit. Okay, moving on. Aside from that, I went to a lame resume help session. I got math tutoring because my math grade is at 64%, and I don't like that. Thus, for aforementioned reasons, I had no quiet time or exercise time. I was just crunch mode. Then, after going through some classes, I went to work, folded shirts for the homecoming race. I got home, relaxed a little bit, but it was after 3 hours of homework I needed to do after that. So, I got to do an hour and a half of Minecraft going to sleep. The next day, I also skipped my quiet time, went to calc tutoring, skipped my first class because I was like, I really need to make sure I do not fail the Calculus 3 exam, and then went to ECE. That's false. I went to statistics, did more tutoring, then skipped math class for an event called Evening with Industry, which is basically a time where you got to eat fancy tacos and talk to people that wanted to hire you. And I will tell you, those tacos were spectacular. Oh my gosh. I did not expect it, but I ate 6 tacos, and they were not little shell tacos either. We're talking half Qdoba burrito size. I 100% stuffed myself with those things that were so good. I don't think I got all that much from the actual event, but I got fantastic tacos, so it was worth it. Oh, and there was one thing. I got to talk with one of the interviewers, and she was like, how do you feel about safety? And I responded with, I can take it or leave it. Man, that did not go over well. Do not respond with that very bad idea. If anyone asks you about how you feel about safety, be like, it is the most massively important, absolute necessariest. Because, man, her disapproval of my response was tangible. She was like, okay, well, we value safety here at company blah, blah, blah. And I was like, ooh, shots fired. So, yeah, yep, don't say you don't care about safety, even if it's true. So I learned some critical information about interviewing, clearly. However, I did make 2 cool internship connections. That might turn out to be something. We'll find out. Oh, and then I also met Lauren, which was cool. She's an aerospace engineer, that Morgan's friend. And I've actually known her for quite a bit. And she happened to be one of the people who was hiring. So I was like, hey, and she was like, hey, and it was cool. Once I got home, I worked on resume stuff. I applied for jobs for an hour or so. I then did a bit of Minecraft with pints to finish out the night. The next day I slept in because, I was sleep deprived. But I only slept in for an hour. And then I got to go to a career fair, which was good. I talked to 12 different employers and gave them all my resumes, and, it was successful. But it was also kind of high stress because I had to make class, and I was quickly slipping through my fingers the time. Nevertheless, I barely made it to my class on time. And that's when I did apparently another exam of death. Except it wasn't of death because it was statistics, and I got an 81. So not good, but not garbage. Yep, after I finished ACA, I went to go help distribute packets at Blank Sporting Goods. Okay, that's fantastic. It bleeped out my voice for typing Dick Sporting Goods. Nice. That was decently chill. I then went to the second math midterm, which I aced. I got a 96, so my hard work paid off. And of course, that makes me happy because I was like, oh no, because after that 64, my grade was not looking hot. But now my grade is at an average 80, so it's not where I want it, but much better. Nonetheless, more importantly, though, it's good to know that if I try hard, I can get good grades. After I went to Hip Hop Dance Club because I was like, I can finally relax a little bit. And I danced and it was good. I actually have really enjoyed Hip Hop Dance Club so far. So just in case you want to try it, Hip Hop Dance. Once I got home, I did job applications till bed, and then the next day arrived. I had my first quiet time for the week. Woo. Did classes, got my math exam score back, did homework, which, I was kind of behind on, and I actually took a few zeros because I couldn't turn things in on time. After that, Brady and I did some Magic in the Sun, which was very relaxing. Magic the Gathering while playing outside is pretty nice. I highly recommend it. We got some Five Guys after that, and we saw these really cool fireworks. There was like a literal mushroom cloud of fire. Like they just used a giant ball of fire, and it's probably the coolest firework I've ever seen. It was huge, actually massive. I then went home and watched an anime movie and did some chainmail stuff. I finished The Big Chain, which I showed you a picture of earlier. And then Sydney got my letter, which if you remember way, way back, like 3 years ago, I made a lot of different scrolls with people's names on them, telling them how much they meant to me and stuff. And Sydney was like the one person that I hadn't sent a scroll to yet because she was like, I won't give you my address. And I was like, why? And she's like, I won't tell you. So yeah, her problem, not mine. But I mean, it kind of was my problem because I've been holding the scroll for like 3 years. But whatever. The point is she was finally willing to give me her address. So I finally sent it over to her, and she finally got it. I think she liked it. Apparently, it made an impact on her, which was really cool. Oh, and the other thing is I recommended her Violet Evergarden, the best anime in existence, and she absolutely loved it. It's her new favorite anime too, so that's super cool. And now, because we both like the same favorite anime, we're just like, having the whole letter experience. It's just a super significant thing because Violet Evergarden's all about letters. So yeah, it was a great experience for all the work I did for all those ages past to pay off. Other than that, I woke up at 5:30 on Saturday to help organize the race, the CSU Homecoming race, which was painful but tolerable. I think I did fine. I then made magic decks with Benj, and that was good. We have 2 new fancy decks. I have a graveyard deck and this cat dragon deck. I then bought a VR game, which was supposed to be roguelike and epic, but it was kind of meh. But I beat it, so whatever. I then proceeded to eat some food while watching some anime, and then I joined Minecraft Call, during which Liam and I did a 2-hour-long anime quiz, which I think my score was exactly half of his. He is so much better at these, and I don't understand why. He knows so many more anime. Anyway, that was really fun. The next day, I went to Church's Housegate, played Magic at Lunch Bunch, which was fun, and then I went to D&D, finished a bit of chainmailing that I was working on. I then met with one of Alan's friends, which was interesting. See, he's talked to us about this girl named Lydia a lot, but I don't know. I didn't enjoy her that much. I'm sure she's a decent person, but she just seems super, annoying? This isn't the right word, perhaps. Perhaps fixated. She just referenced everything back to the Bible. I don't think there was a single point made that she didn't tie back to the word. Now, maybe someone else would see that as extremely virtuous, but it just seemed like to me she didn't have much of a personality. So I don't know. I didn't really enjoy her that much, but it was nice to meet her anyway. And Zach. Zach was just a dude. Nothing really noticeable and unique about him. But apparently they're great people, so maybe if I got to know them better, I would have enjoyed them more. After that, we played a Jackbox game, which was actually not bad. It was an okay Jackbox game. We then played some Halo, which was fantastic, and I got free food, and that was great. I then purchased insurance after doing my own insurance hunting, which is good, because my parents were like, hey, those 2 giant tickets you got way back? Well, they finally caught up with you. And I was like, oh, my insurance cost has doubled. So yeah. Sad the tickets finally processed. Although, to be fair, it took way longer than I thought it'd be. I'm definitely surprised it took that long for that process. So I have my own insurance, and honestly, I found a way better deal than my dad was getting, so it works out. I actually ended up paying the same amount because mom and dad just had a really bad insurance company. It was overpriced. So yeah, I did that. I beat that roguelike VR game, Sweet Surrender, after I got home. The next day, I performed more school. I did quiet time at work. No, I had a quiet day at work, which was fantastic after the entire week of So that was great. I actually got to do homework, which was fantastic. After I attended ratio, which was normal, I got to do statistics homework in the background, which is bueno. Once I got home from that, I went on a run with mom, and then I watched some anime before working on job application stuff because I was like, I should get an internship. Do you know that mechanical engineering internships pay you a minimum of $20 an hour? It's fantastic. They're not even being you get minimum wage. You get a good wage for interning when you have essentially no skill set. So of course I was like, yay! I set projects of money. So I'm excited. Hopefully I'll get one of those someday. I then rock climbed and swam the next day, as is my exercise routine on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I enacted some quiet time, did some more job applications, and then went to school and work. Oh, and I went to the Baja Building Club. I don't know if I mentioned this before. I don't think I mentioned it. Okay, so while I was at Evening Industry event, there was really good tacos, by the way. One of the dudes was like, hey, I'm part of this club that builds Baja car things. And I was like, ooh. And so I went to visit them. And they were like, go away. You need to sign a waiver. And so I did. And because I signed the waiver, apparently, I'm now allowed to come in. So yeah, I've joined them for reals now. It's kind of a hodgepodge club. Currently, we're just doing our own thing. And there's a plan technically. But they're kind of not really is there a plan. But well. I played some Magic at Joe's house. Did a tiny bit of chainmail. And then I bought very fancy $100 running shoes because I was like, I'm not very kind to my knees. My form is garbage. The line of thought spurred by Noah talking about how his knees were deteriorating and how he's dying. And I was like, I should protect these knees. So I invested in my knees. The next day I had school, quiet time, and all that jazz. I finished, tried to finish the code for my project. It did not go well, which was unfortunate because I then got to watch... which is unfortunate. I then got to watch some Clone Wars with Neo, and that made life better. From now on, we decided that on Wednesday, I will hang with Neo a bit before Magic Club, and that was really good. I got to play some Magic before going to sleep, and Magic is always good, except for when it isn't. The next day was Thursday, so I rock climbed and swam, as per usual. And then I finished the Secunda of the Summa Theologia. In other words, I got to the big section, and that is, day 140 or something. I've been doing this for a while. I then used my project extension for one Mech 105 to get the code fixed, which was super dumb because it was like a line off, but whatever. After that, I went to EC, aka Electrical Engineering class, did homework, and went home and worked on nunchucks, which I'll show you once they're done. Those are coming along. Kind of an interesting project. I think I'm gonna like my results. I then danced because it was Thursday, and that was fine and good. And then I studied for my big scary test. After that, I cleaned up my notebook, did housekeeping things like laundry and stuff, and it was good. Kind of like a chill day. Okay, let's say. The next day I had school, did work, all that jazz. I got a 96 on my mech exam, which was great, and kind of reassuring after my 53 on my ECE test. I just had like a classic day. I got to shop, get gas, clean out my car, buy food, plus work on nunchucks. Yep, solid day. I enjoyed that chill day, even though it was mostly just chores, because my life is getting kind of hectic. I do a lot of things. See, it was nice to do like more trivial stuff. After I got home, I went on a run, watched some more of Free instant anime, and worked on my nunchucks. The next day was a lovely Saturday. I had quiet time in the morning, and I rock climbed with Ben, which was good. He's good at that. Like, gosh, he's got like an 8 he can climb, I think. I was like, oh, I can't even touch his level. I got like 2 3s, and I was like, yay! 1 3 took a lot of time and a lot of work, but I finally got it. It was great. So yeah, Ben is just a rock climbing god at this point in time. Perhaps one day I shall reach half his level. But yeah, it was good going out with him because I hadn't really hung out with him a bit, and so I decided that was great. I played Magic at the Myers house, which was decent. I don't know. The Myers, I'm not sure if they enjoy Magic as much as I thought they did. Maybe they do. I don't know. I then hung out with the Ratchet Christian people at Noah's house and did cornhole and spikeball. I'm great at spikeball, but I got destroyed at cornhole. Man, Noah is surprisingly good at cornhole. It's painful. I then went home and hung out with Grace, watched some Log Horizon with her after, another anime. The following day was church, which was good, and got to do some Magic afterward, which was also good. I then did D&D, which was great. Playing Cool was fun. I have stopped becoming younger, which is great. I've lost my backward age curse. I then did a bunch of dishes, did Bible study, and we all played Halo in teams. But the one thing that happened is John and Alan were swearing quite a lot, which me and Neil were like, no me gusta. So yeah, that's a bit of that. Oh, that was like made the Halo team battle a bit off, but otherwise it was fantastic. Once I finally got home, I couple with Ben and got to hear what's going on in his life, and then I was like going to go to bed, but the power went out, and I was like, well, my fan's gone, so I can't have white noise. And Ben was like, I can't see enough to do work. And so we're like, well, we never see a power outage here in Fort Collins. And by the way, here in Colorado, I mean Fort Collins. So let's go walk around. And it was definitely weird. For like an entire 4 blocks, it was just dark. So we were walking around, and we're just like, we want to see just how far this goes. And so as we're going, we spot this pile of fire trucks and stuff that end up like, we walked over to see them because we actually found out what caused the power outage, which was really quite interesting. See, this girl whose brakes apparently failed because, we stuck around and listened and she explained her story to the cops because we just were like, well, this is interesting. Ended up hitting the power box at City Park, which took out the power for like 4+ blocks, which personally I thought was pretty crazy, at least regarding how far the power box reached. But yeah, we just got to like see the police talking to her and just doing a sobriety test and all that stuff, and it was very interesting. Definitely a novel experience. I felt like if something small like that had happened every day in life, it would just be way more meaningful. Like, a lot of my days are just like, I went to school, I did the thing, etc. But that was novel and memorable. Although, it is also the leading contribution to why I lost some of my sleep. So I'm not sure I want this particular event every night. Anyway, I got to see the power outage, and the power came back right as we were approaching our house, which was fantastic and great timing. And I also got to hang out with Ben some, so that was like a win-win. The next day was a hectic day, but I did get to have quiet time, so that was good. After going it through school and doing work and all the jazz, I went to this hackathon event. I don't know if you want to call it like a meeting, but it was like a team building event where basically we all got together and we're like, yep, we need to build a team. And they gave us free Panic Express, which was fantastic. I went into bubbly Alex mode and I was like, yes, you, socially awkward computer science, oh my gosh. You, socially awkward computer science nerd. Do you need a team to join? Join my team. We're super chill. All we want to do is have fun and gain learning experience. And everyone was like, we have nowhere else to go, so we'll stick with this weirdo. So I built a 6-person team, and hopefully we'll do well. I think it'll be a good learning experience for how to lead, if nothing else. And I think I'm actually pretty decent as a leader, honestly. It'll be tough, though, because these people are hyper introverted, and obviously no one else wanted them, so we'll see how this goes. I really doubt we're going to win, but the event was interesting nonetheless. I'm going to spend basically all of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday just programming code for VR, and they're going to feed me for free, so that's epic. It goes to like 10, and then you go home and sleep, only to wake up the next morning and do it all again. It's like all day, so just going to be a really interesting experience. Plus, there's like a bunch of money and cash prizes if you win, which again, I really doubt we're going to win, but maybe we could walk home rich. Who knows? So yeah, went to that, got free Panda, which is great, and built a team. Hopefully that will go well this upcoming weekend. If nothing else, it'll be a cool experience though. I went to Ratio Christie and ate some of their food, so I got double free food. And then me and Neo decided to talk to John and Alan about the swearing thing and ended up having a really good deep talk with them and Sydney. And it was a really pretty heart-to-heart conversation, at least for our friend group. I mean, It might be kind of weak by, squad standards, but for the Neo friend group, it was probably the deepest conversation we've had thus far. I think it was really good and important to have. After that concluded, I went home and ran with Dad. He was there for the first time instead of Mom, because she doesn't like the cold, and it was decent. Mom is better at monologuing, though, I must say. Dad is satisfactory. After we got home, and I finished the anime we were watching, and I went to sleep. Tuesday, I rock climbed and swam, and then I checked out the sauna for the first time, and it's an interesting experience, A lot of hot, humid water air. I might do that more, though apparently, there's health benefits, so it's probably worth it. I then went to ECE and started having this weird heart pounding thing, which was persistent. I don't know if it's just me noticing that I have a heartbeat for the first time, or if it's something else, or I might be dying. But yeah, I noticed my heart is beating abnormally hard over the last week, and I don't know why. I then did math, and then I stopped in this event where they were giving out free canes. And it turns out everyone else in the entire engineering department had the exact same thought. So it was like a savage war for canes. It was a mob. And some dudes were like, I'm just going to take 6 pieces, even though I know there's only 2 pieces left. And I'm like, hold up, that doesn't make any sense. Take 2. I know there's only 20 pieces left. There's 40 people behind me. But I'm going to take 6 anyway. And I was like, okay, my dude, you do you, I guess. And such scenario raises the whole ethical considerations of justice and fairness, but I'll talk about it eventually. If you care to hear about it, we can talk about it. I doubt you do, though. But anyway, it was an interesting experience. After getting through getting a tiny bit of canes, which I did, I then journeyed to the Baja Vehicle Club and spent the first day with them, which was okay. Again, it was kind of so do we have a plan? And my answer was kinda yeah, kinda not. But whatever. I then went over to the James's house where Joe was not present because he and Karina were at a wedding in California, but his mom was present, and so me, Noah, Benj, and Mrs. James all played Splendor twice. I lost one game, but then won the other one. So, even it out, which is fun. And then we all played Magic, which was good and righteous. Finally, once I got home, I talked with Liam about some stuff, and that conversation was also good, and I complimented his reason and responded to him. And then finally, that's for yesterday. I did school, did work, did math, and all that stuff, and then I went out to hang out with Neo. And it turned out John, Neo, and Sydney were all chilling. And they were like, let's go shopping. And I was like, okay. And it took so long. Holy cow. I think we shopped for a solid hour and 15 minutes. I promise you it could take me 15 minutes to do what we did. But no, efficiency is not the key to success, apparently. So that was painful, but whatever. I then watched some Clone Wars with Neo, and we played a bit of Halo, and then I went and did a firefight, which I think is what it's called. It's a teamwork one, not the fighting one where we fight each other. And then I went and played Magic with other people, and that was kind of just long and tedious. But I made chainmail during it, so it was worth it. And then I went to sleep. As for today, today I was like, I need to go to tutoring, and so I did that. I had a little bit of tutoring experience, which I had the tutoring experience, which I ranted about earlier. And she was like, I don't understand this. And I'm like, I understand this better than you, and you're the tutor. So that was painful. I figured I needed to buy a fancy calculator, so I did that. I just did homework at work, which was great. I hung out with Dad today, and that's it. I finished another anime, and I stole the music from it, and it's beautiful music. Oh my gosh, it's fantastic. Not quite Violet Evergarden level, mind you, but pretty close. So yeah, my music playlist got 50 songs longer. I then sat and began to compose the work before you, and that's the day went. I understand these are getting a little bit sloggy. It's just wow, Alex, you don't have anything interesting to say. What about your intros? What about interesting developments? And, to such complaints, I respond, fair, but I'm actually super busy. I'm just trying to keep the Life of Demo tradition alive, okay, man? I mean, I've had quite a few mini rants. Sorry if these emails feel like a slog. I might try and fix it. I probably won't. But again, I'm super busy, so, we'll see what's possible. And I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening, because, the few of you that make it this far are special. Not because of any unique characteristics you have, or at least positive unique characteristics, just because you're unique insofar as you made it this far. I mean, heck, you must be a horribly boring person with no personality, which of course is not true because everyone who listens to these is statistically proven to be smarter and handsomer than the average person. But if it were the case, I would nevertheless appreciate your perseverance. Farewell.